You're back with the crossover with Marlon Jones and Armon Williams.
All right, welcome back to the crossover. KDUS 1060 with Marlon Armon. Subscribe to our social media accounts on both our YouTube and our Facebook page at the crossover 1060. Once again, that's at the crossover 1060. All right, this segment, as usual, we have she's a recurring guest, and she's a GCU Antelope as well as a Oklahoma State cowgirl. You call it cowgirl, right?
Yeah, cowgirl, cowboy. I think we just go with it.
All right, we got Dr. Amanda Jones. Dr. Amanda Jones, no relation to Marlon. She's a family nurse practitioner here on the show to go ahead and kind of like settle us down.
Yeah,
kind of like give us civilization.
Now that you're back, we definitely missed you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks again. You know, we gave you a shout out last week.
She was hanging out with the Princeton boys.
Yeah, out there hanging out with the Princeton football team.
What was that about? Tell us what was that like?
Well, that was a nice surprise. It was interesting because anytime you're around the entire team and all the people, I mean, it's just it's interesting to be in the same, environment. And I got to talk to some of the families of the team members, and that was really exciting. Yeah, I was getting off the elevator at the hotel I was staying in California, and the whole team was like headed toward the elevators. So I thought this would be an interesting.
You were in
weekend.
San Diego, right?
Yeah, I was in San Diego.
What were they doing there? Who were they playing?
They were playing. I wasn't watching much football that day because I was there for a series of events. Mm-hmm. But there was just a lot going on at the particular place that I was staying, and it was really exciting. Though it was great.
I would think they probably would have been either playing USD or UCSD.
Yeah, that's thinking San Diego University. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
mm-hmm. That would have been my guess. We know it wasn't San Diego State.
No, no. As a matter of fact, Oklahoma State. I was just looking at it. Oklahoma State. They actually play Iowa State today. They're at Iowa State. They're in Ames, Iowa. So they'll play Iowa State today, and they're actually a 3.5-point underdog.
Yeah. So Iowa State, for me, in my mind, is always like a wild card. I don't know why, but I think it's just I've been watching Oklahoma State football for so long. Every year, it doesn't matter what's going on. You just never know what's going to happen with Iowa State. There are years you think that, we should win that game. And then there was one year, it was a really tragic airplane accident with part of the basketball team passed away. It's awful. It really affected the community tremendously. And at the time, they went ahead and played the game that weekend. And if I remember right, this is all just from my memory, I think they lost that game that year. And part of it is, just the emotion going in. And, we've talked about this on other shows and how that mindset of the team makes such a big difference. It's not even just that sport either. When it comes to collegiate sport, it could be something that happens in a different program, but they're also tightly knit. You guys probably can speak to that more than anybody.
Whenever you mean talking about like just a loss or a tragedy.
The loss.
Well, I had a story like when I was in college going into my junior year. We had a player. He was a tight end. His name was Damon Terrell, and we got done with pre-season or I guess pre-camp workouts where we basically we ran a conditioning test. It's basically kind of like a 300-yard shuttle. And we did like a series. You had to do a series of those within a certain amount of time. Well, apparently what happened with Damon Terrell is he cramped up like really, really bad. I guess he had a full body cramp and he wound up getting hospitalized. And I remember, he wound up getting hospitalized. He missed all the camp. He was able to start to recover. So he missed all the camp, and then into the season, they were like, well, he's probably not going to play football anymore. I remember Coach telling us he's not going to play football anymore, but he'll be part of kind of like the staff, and he'll be around. And then he had an episode, I guess, was a malpractice thing that happened, I guess, between the University of Arizona, their medical team, and him were, I can't necessarily get into the details, but he wound up tragically, suddenly passing. And I remember that night we played, we had a game. It was a weeknight game. I think it was a Thursday night game or something like that. We played Georgia Tech. And crazy thing is we were losing to Georgia Tech that game. We were supposed to beat them. Now we were losing to them that game, and it got down to the fourth quarter. And it was maybe a couple minutes left to go in the game. And they were going to punt. They were punting almost out of their end zone. and they probably were going to wind up winning that game. I was playing special teams. I was able to break through and block a punt down there at the goal line. And I was able to go ahead and fall on the ball like inside the 5-yard line, and we wound up scoring and winning that game. So we're excited about the win and everything. And then we find out that after the game that Damon Terrell had tragically lost his life. And matter of fact, I remember seeing on the sidelines one of our trainers, Sue Hillman. She was on the sidelines. She was crying in the middle of the game, and we didn't know what the hell was going on. Like, why is she, crying? We were focused on the game, but it was probably one of the most emotional things that we had. It was a roller coaster of emotions that we had to endure after losing a teammate and a good friend, Damon Terrell. And I remember that next game we went to Illinois and played the Illini, and we flew out there. And actually, Coach told me our head coach, he actually stayed. He went to L.A. to attend the funeral, and the rest of us, we went and played. So our assistant coaches, they took over as the head coach. I think it was Coach Ellerson was kind of like our head coach that game, whatever. But I remember Sean Parnell, who was like really, really close friends with Damon Terrell. They were like they grew up together. He comes out with his jersey number like at the 50-yard line, like before the game, and he's hoisting it up, whatnot. And the Illinois fans, they like all of them just like went nuts, and they were like cheering and whatnot. And we got emotional. We all broke down, and we were like bawling bawling out in the field like before the game, whatnot. And we wound up losing that game, but it felt cathartic. It felt good to kind of get that out, get that emotion out. I think we definitely needed it. But it was a really, really difficult thing to do. So talking about like losing somebody or a tragedy happening, that's kind of like that's my story that I can, not Marlon. I don't know if
not during season. I couldn't imagine playing and working with your teammates, and especially when you're close with, and that player has to sit out for a medical reason, and it turns out it's a little bit more serious than anticipated, and then end up losing their life during the season. I've never experienced that during the season. I mean, we've had teammates that we've lost after the season, or a couple years after we were done playing. But yeah, that's something I couldn't even imagine. Just during the season, that's just, man, and you have to move forward, but every time you get ready, you walk past his locker, and you're a man short in the drills and whatnot. So it's just the fact that you guys were able to battle through that and
right.
whatnot, and on top of everything else that you deal with in the middle of a season.
And we left his jersey there, and we left his locker, and we didn't really touch it for the next few years. But but I remember, Amanda, what happened at Oklahoma, what happened at Oklahoma State, and whatnot. And that was definitely a tragic situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really tight community too. So anytime something like that happens, Stillwater's an all-American hometown. It's the place that people imagine, whenever. And so I'm excited. I'm going back there next Friday, actually. But I was a lot younger when that happened, and it definitely affected the community. I think your story also speaks to, the great side of athletics and coming together and supporting each other. And it's a journey. It's a journey of life. And, we go back to this discussion about these kids, and even when we talked about NIL and all these things, this is a part of them developing into the people that they're going to be. And so it's not always just about the sport, and I think people connect with that. That's one reason we like it. We like the entertainment value too of the Showtime stuff that's going on. It's fun, it's sad, we experience all the emotions of life in a game when we watch it. We can experience all those emotions in one game or one season, and I think gives people an opportunity to just connect with others. There's actually research studies that talk about when you're watching football, people who are watching football, and the health benefits, or football or basketball, any sport really, the health benefits of spectator sports and the different physiological things that happen in our bodies while we're watching it. So there's good, there's sad, it's all just an amazing.
It really kind of encompasses all the emotions.
Yeah.
That's what makes sports so compelling, so great.
Right.
That's why people love it so much.
We saw with the Bills when Damar Hamlin went down, and, fortunately they had an incredible incredible team. He is whenever I saw that happening, I thought, I've coded many people in the hospital whenever I used to do ICU nursing, and that was pretty tremendous that team was able to jump in and do that.
All right, Dr. Amanda Jones, thank you. You're going to stick around for a little bit, but coming up next, we're going to go ahead and put a ball in this show, and I think there's a score that needs to be settled as far as a bet. So we're going to talk about how that's going to be settled.
Ain't nobody shook on nothing.
You're listening to the crossover, KDUS 1060. We'll be right back.